Hi, welcome to Street Priest Ministries. I'm your host, Brother Jay, as we're taking the Gospels back to the streets. Today's drive-through message is Hell's Deception, Luke 6:19. Now, I've taught on hell many times. And we have a series on hell. I had no plans whatsoever to teach on hell for a long while. What sparked this is a friend of mine that I shared my hell experience with. And this friend tried to tell me that my hell experience really didn't exist. But it was my hell experience that got me on the road to Christianity. I wouldn't have even been a Christian. And sure enough, would have been a minister. A pastor. So that sparked hell again. You know what to tell you, it sparked hell again. I was going to give you guys a break. And I taught on hell sideways, upside down, many times. But Jesus had 2/3 more to say about hell than he did heaven. Just in case you think I'm getting soft, I'm not. But this friend of mine sparked this hell message. And I hope this message reaches him, because it inspired me to teach on this subject. And I guess you can't teach on it enough. Just when I thought I was done. Here we go again. For the unbelievers. Now, hell is mentioned in the King James 54 times. Like I said, Jesus taught 2/3 more on it than he did heaven. And the reason I titled this Hell's Deception is because Satan, his number one objective, if he can convince you that he doesn't exist, that's like his number one objective. He got you. You be in hell with him. Number two is if he can convince you hell doesn't exist, he got you. You be in hell with him still. Hell is just as real in its dimension as the nose is on my face. And many, many people have been there and have come back through God's grace, like myself, to testify that this place really exists. And we're going to teach on it today. Now, the word in Hebrew for hell is Sheol, and it means world of the dead. Sheol, world of the dead. In Greek, the translation is Hades. And it simply means unseen. Like I said, it's in its dimension. You can't see it. But it's in the heart of the earth. And all references refer, and we exist in overlapping dimensions. Even scientists have come around to understand that. But part of that dimension, that this world here, is in Satan's kingdom, which is hell. This is one of the regions of hell. Jesus said, my kingdom is not of this world. He didn't claim this world. Come to rescue a few out of this world that he said. Now, in the Greek, like I said, the word translated is Hades. It means unseen. The damned, or place of the damned. And also a state of the damned. Because also when you're in hell, your mind's in hell too. We're soul, spirit. You got your mind. And all that's going to be intact in hell. It's just going to be amplified by thousands. You get outside this human shell. See, we're not a body with a soul. We're a soul with a body, as C.S. Lewis has stated. We have a soul. We have an inner man that you can't see that comes out of this shell. And all your senses is going to be heightened 1,000 times, if not more. So you're going to still have the essence of you, whether you go to hell or whether you go to heaven. You're like, each person is an individual. Just like the fingerprint. It's only one you. God made us all unique. And designed us all for a purpose. And with gifts for that purpose. And it's up to you to figure it out in this life. But hell's a waste of those gifts and that purpose. That's all hell is. One of the words in the Bible that God was emphasizing, he had made Israel a type of what the eternal world was. Like the word Jerusalem itself means abode of peace, symbolized heaven, and the temple of heaven. And they had the layout, the land had the layout of heaven, but it also had hell. And hell was in the southern part of Gehenna, where they burned the refuge. It was thrown outside Jerusalem. They also burned their kids to Moloch out there with the Tophet fires and all that child sacrifice. Nothing new under the sun. And those fires raged, but the refuge was burned there. Everything thrown, idols was there. So it was also symbolizing the next life hell, which is a real place in this real dimension. Just like I said, these words here, see, when you get outside the English language and study the original, you get a clear picture. And in the Greek, Hades is a real place. It says here, a place of the damned. It's a real place. Where the party, see, God made us, he created us with a soul, a spirit. And that has to spend eternity somewhere. We're eternal beings. And if you don't get it right, if you don't get it right with God here, and accept Christ's atonement for what he did through his blood at Calvary, if you reject that and think you're going to impress God with your self-righteousness or whatever, or just put your head like an ostrich in the sand and pretend none of them exist, God, Satan, hell, heaven, none of it exists. That's where you're going to end up. You're going to end up in hell. You're going to have a rude awakening. Your eternal soul can't go to heaven with God the Father. You have to go, and you've heard me teach on this 1,000 times, via the cross, through Christ Jesus, through his blood work that he atoned for us. Or else you're going to end up in hell. And you got to bear your own sins. And you're in the place of the damned. That's why it's called the region of the damned. Lost souls. Every culture recognizes hell. Every culture. It's not a culture around this world. There's been, I think it was miners in Siberia, if I'm not mistaken, that tapped into hell. They drilled down so far, and they heard the screams, and a lot of the men went mad. All of them quit. All of them came back with the same testimony. So it's a real place that really exists. Now, we're gonna go to we'll start off at Matthew 25:41. Right there. Matthew 25:41. Matthew 25:41. Now hell wasn't created for man, but man, Adam, first man, he sinned. He went his own way and followed Satan. Satan became the god of this world. We were the god, quote unquote, the little g of this world. And Adam handed the keys over to Satan through Satan's deception. Now, Because of that, all mankind that's been born is born in sin. Hamartia in the Greek just means to fall short of God's glory, His standard. And like I said, we have to spend eternity somewhere. If you can't spend eternity with God, and hell is everything opposite that God is and heaven is. There's no water in hell. Everybody that's been in hell complain of undying thirst just to have a drop of water. We're going to read about a character in a minute. They beg for a drop of water. There's no breaks. It's torture 24/7. Your life in hell is like a viewfinder, because your mind is still working. All the missed opportunities that God sent people into your life for you to metanoia, to you to repent, and you rejected. You rejected, and you rejected all God's people that He sent into your life, over your life, and that's gonna play like a viewfinder, over and over, start over and over again. All the missed opportunities. That's the state of mind of hell, within hell. See, there's hell, where you're consciously being tortured by Satan's minions, demons that look unworldly. Believe me, I've seen it. They look like an abomination. The worst monster movie can't touch hell. I don't care. You think of one is still 1,000 times worse. The monsters they got in hell waiting for you. And they can't wait to get there. They hate you. They hate your guts. Why Satan revolted in the first place? That God would dare to create what he considered. I'm talking about what he considered to be an abomination. Flesh and celestial fire mixed together, hybrid. Caused them to revolt. And his boys too. A third of them. So they hate you. And Satan is the deceiver. And he's deceiving, the Bible say, the whole world. Many. Kings included. He's spiritually bankrupt. He has nothing to offer. All he can do is lie, steal, kill, and destroy, deceive. He hates the Adamic race with a passion. And when people get to hell, even the ones that served him faithfully, even the ones that they thought they would share in his kingdom, that's a lie too. He's not going to share with no putrid, abominable biped like yourself. This is for all you witches and warlocks out there, wizards that's faithfully served. You're being deceived. Famous occultist found that out just before he died. Plenty of witnesses saw him screaming and said he yelled he was wrong. He was wrong. I was wrong. And he served the devil faithfully for years. There's going to be a lot of people like that. Artists, especially Hollywood. That's both movies and music. They're sold to the devil. That includes men of power that's sold for power. Wealth, whatever. They're all going to be deceived. Non-stop torture, burning. And depending on how great a sinner you was, greater the punishment. Of course, a Hitler's going, there's people that saw him roasted down there. He has to relive all the people he massacred one by one. In the Holocaust, he has to go through that torture of each single person. Non-stop, 24/7. Torture. Now, what did I say? Matthew 25:41. Hell is no joke. It's for real. I've been there. And for this individual to try to tell me, that have me doubt my experience, like there's myriad of other people, you can go online. and look them up on the internet. They had their experience that changed their life, that turned them to God and Christ. Be like, I'll give an example, like Hawaii, or Thailand, or someplace like that. And I had a friend that been there. They could tell me all about it. So yeah, Jay, this is the place you want to eat an island burger. And when you get here, this is where the most beautiful waterfalls are on the island. And good hiking spots that you like. You get away from the tourists. Now, this person gives me in-depth detail of Hawaii. Obviously, this person has lived in Hawaii long enough to know the trails and where to go and where the waterfalls is. So why would I argue with that person? So you don't know what you're talking about. That's like the people that argue with people that been to hell, that can tell you graphic details. And they all say the same thing. Pretty much. Who are you to argue with them and their experience? Now when I'm going to pray for this individual. That God get this individual, you think I'm serious? Or he'll experience themselves. To wake them up. Either through vision or out of body like myself. I had the out of body experience. And it wasn't a vision. I went through another dimension, the black swirling tunnel everybody talks about. I went through that. That story is similar to so many people. Seen the fire, the torture, the demons, the souls. Being tortured there. Felt the heat, like no earthly heat. The darkness, like no earthly darkness. And my tour was brief. And I rapidly prayed for God to get me the hell out of here. And he did. And my life has changed since. And I didn't need a second trip. One tour was enough. But anyway, there's people that had a lot longer tours than me. They were down there for quite some time. Seen a lot of so-called entertainers and stars down there, and popes and everything. Even some people seen Mother Teresa. Which proves you can't work your way to heaven. Saved by grace through faith. It's a gift of God, not of works, as any man should boast. You can't work your way to heaven. Still come up short. Now, Matthew 25:41. Now this is Pastor Jesus preaching. He had, like I said, he had 2/3 more to say about him. He certainly thought it was a real place, the way he talked about it. Like he'd been there and seen it himself. He is God in the flesh. And he spoke it to an existence. He's the Word. So of course he would know. It really exists. Then shall they say unto them on the left hand, depart from me, ye cursed. Curses always go to the left. Matter of fact, the word sinister comes from the Latin word which means left. To the left. To the left. Then shall he say unto them on the left hand, depart from me, ye cursed, into everlasting fire. Everlasting fire. Real fire that burns forever. Everlasting. Prepared for the devil and his angels, like I said. Hell was created for the devil's angels. It's an infernal prison for supernatural beings. Fallen angels. Satan and his crew. It wasn't for mankind, but because mankind is created, like I said, eternal beings. We have to spend eternity somewhere. And if you ain't going to spend it in heaven, God got a place for you. Since you want to follow the devil, you spend it with him. They'll stamp the 666 on your forehead. And that's your God. Satan, that's who you follow. And chose not to follow. Follow God to follow him. And like I said, you think of heaven, all the beauty, all the fragrance, very fragrant. The smells in heaven. Everybody that's been there to heaven said that you can't even put the beauty in the words. Well, same, but hell opposite. You can't put really in the words the hell experience. It's like this, you can't, they're so diametrically opposite of one another. Words just don't suffice heaven to explain heaven. And then the love there, and hell, and the hate there, and the torture there, and the ugly, and the stench. Everything opposite of heaven. Hell is. That's Satan's king. I always call him Satan, the cosmic poo-poo. That's his kingdom. Now, I'm going to read this one more time. Then shall they say unto them on the left hand, Depart from me, ye cursed, into everlasting fire, prepared for the devil and his angels. A real place, a real infernal prison. Wasn't designed for man, but that's where you're going to end up. Because you got to spend eternity somewhere. Now we're going to look at some more verses. Let's go to, still in Matthew 5:22. But I say unto you, that whosoever is angry with his brother without a cause shall be in danger of judgment. And whosoever shall say unto his brother Raka shall be in danger, which means fool, shall be in danger of hell fire. Hell fire. Hell fire. Let that settle in. A place that's real. A place of the dead. You get your, each little verse is given like a piece of a puzzle. Put it together for you. That's real in this dimension. Hell and fire. Now, let's go to Matthew 23:33. Matthew 23:33. I'm giving you these different verses to give you a very clear picture of how, this is just in the New Testament right here. Like I said, it's mentioned 54 times in the King James. My God. Matthew 23:33. So if God mentioned hell so many times, when you think he's trying to get the point across, if I had to say something over and over and over again, I'm trying to drill it home. This is Pastor Jesus preaching. Ye serpents. How would you like to be sitting in church and then Brother Jay come out and the first thing I say to you, you snakes? Ye serpents, ye generation of vipers, you family of snakes, you descendants of snakes. How can ye escape the damnation of hell? That's Pastor Jesus preaching. He obviously believed in hell a lot. He said the damnation of hell, a physical place. See, Satan loved to hoodwink you and dupe you into thinking God wouldn't throw you in the hell. Yeah, God will stick you on his rotisserie and let you roast and forget about you for eternity. But Satan would love, because like I said, a lot of people have turned this war book / roadmap to eternity and turned it into a fairy tale book. Goldilocks and the Three Bears, Cinderella story, Rip Van Winkle, and turned it into anything but a book of letting you know that this is warfare between Satan and his fallen angels and God and his angels. Heaven versus hell. And we're pawns in this eternal church chess match, going one place or the other. And Satan would love to convince you that that's not true, that God wouldn't put you in a place like this. Yes, he would. He's still God. He said, I'll have mercy on whom I have mercy, and compassion on whom I have compassion.